Well, good win. I would say that there's really nothing that incredibly important to talk about, right? I mean, it was just another one of those games where the Eagles come out, as they normally do, and get a close, hard-fought victory off of three defensive... Who am I even kidding? Let's get into actual character. This is a win! In the books! Count it! It goes in the books! It's a win! Philly beats San Francisco 25-20 on Sunday Night Football to move to 1-2-1 on the season and actually claim first place in the NFC East. A sentence in which I totally expected to utter yesterday in preparing for the game, which I so brilliantly tweeted this. Man, if there was a redo button, I wouldn't hit it because I believe that worked. For those who have watched these videos and you're noticing, well, this is a different setup. This is. I actually just moved, and it's a work in progress. If you look over there, you'll see actually that is my signed portrait of... Actually, let me just... It's still actually in its casing, so forgive me for the glare. But yes, this is the strip sack, Brandon Graham's very, very unimportant strip sack. I have a few decorations, actually, I wanted to point out. Harry Callis, go Phillies, obviously. But we have also, this was a gift from my mom a few Christmases ago. Broad Street Bullies, can't not have that. Bryce Harper, who's obviously my favorite Philly. But we'll talk about that some other time. Well, let's talk about this game. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Embarrassing tie to the Cincinnati Bengals. They're going on the road. They're taking on the defending NFC champions. Never mind the fact that they were missing Jimmy Garoppolo and Raheem Mostert and Tevin Coleman, Nick Bosa, Solomon Thomas, Joe Montana, Bill Walsh. I'm pretty sure there were some other guys from the 80s and 90s that weren't playing this game, like Steve Young or Jerry Rice. But the Eagles were pretty banged up too, so it's not like they were at full strength and beat this, completely better team. These were two better teams that were simply just beating each other. Darius Slay goes out for a little bit. Lane Johnson couldn't stay in the game for that long. Fletcher Cox had a couple injury issues. I just want to go ahead and go through this from start to finish, and we'll kind of talk about things as things progress. Game starts out, Eagles get the ball, and do nothing with it. Big shock. But they did have one ace in the hole. Nick Mullins is the starting quarterback for tonight's game for the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not saying Nick Mullins is a bad quarterback. He showed some stuff last night. He looks pretty good, but just wasn't quite what you want, if you're a San Francisco 49ers fan. Obviously, the calls for Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm sure, like, oh my God, please be healthy soon. More on their quarterback situation in just a second, but the Niners aren't able to do much. The first couple drives between both teams are pretty back and forth. Not much is happening. George Kittle's getting a catch here and there. Nick Mullins missed a wide-open Kyle Juszczyk. By the way, like to point out, Nathan Gary on the coverage of that again. Once again, Eagles finally start moving the ball. Carson Wentz after oh, that's right. I have to mention the 7th interception that I don't have cable right now or internet, so I had to stream this game on my phone using data. So I missed the reaction from Philly fans when the interception happened, but let me just give you my play-by-play reaction to it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I reacted to it watching it. I think that's a pretty fair way that we all kind of react to that. If you're not the biggest Wentz hater in the world because maybe you have some sense about you, you understand that he has thrown some pretty bad interceptions. The Rams interception was awful. His 2 interceptions against Washington were just abysmal. Tip passes, I tend to not really blame the quarterback for. Maybe with the context of the whole game, I kind of understand why. In that moment, I was still a little, why didn't you just throw the ball away? Throughout the entire night, Carson Wentz really didn't have anywhere to throw the ball. He did not have the weapons I think that he would have liked to have had. But ultimately, he was able to, recover from that early interception. The Eagles get the ball in the end zone, and boom, you know what? It's 8-0. That's right, 8-0. Doug Peterson with cojones. It's good to know that he got him back after what happened against Cincinnati. Goes for 2, gets the 2, and it's 8-0 Philadelphia. So all we need is the defense. Is it really 8-7 already, or is the defense this bad? Methinks the defense is not very good, but it's very reminiscent of how the Phillies throughout the season, they would score like, I don't know, 2 runs in an inning, and then the bullpen, well, it was definitely the bullpen, but even our starting pitching would then give up 3 runs that very next half inning. So it's 8-7, and here we go again. The Niners are starting to drive the ball, and you're thinking, oh, God, here we go again. It's just going to be one of those games where the other team's able to score whenever they want to, and we can only score when there's a blue moon. And, hey, Jannard Avery with pass rush. Oh, my God, Rodney McLeod, yes, let's go! Rodney McLeod had an amazing game last night. I don't think there was any defensive player that played better than he did. He was all over the field. His tackling was solid. As a matter of fact, he made he made at least one good tackle at the end of the game to keep the clock moving when C.J. Beathard decided to go godsend C.J. Beathard. More on that in just a second. But Eagles avoid the scare, do nothing with the ball because, of course, they don't. Well, they actually had a chance. 3rd and 1. Get the first down, get a new set of downs, move closer towards field goal range. Jordan Mailata, yes, I understand he played well. Yes, I understand that it was a surprise that he played well. No, he does not get an excuse for that awful false start. Offensive line play, ruining drives. Not that it started last week, but it became very glaring last week. Another bad penalty. Incompletion follows. Eagles do nothing with it. And then they go to halftime. It's 8-7 Eagles. 3rd quarter begins. Niners go bing, bang, boom, right down the field. It's 14-8 before, you can blink an eye. And at that point, I'm like, all right, that's game. And why wouldn't I think that's game? They've been terrible all season. So why would I assume that they could come back? Once again, the ace in the hole, Nick Mullins playing quarterback. The big play of the game, obviously, is Strap. My man Cravon LeBlanc getting a huge strip sack to set the Eagles up in golden territory. They are starting to move the ball. They're getting the ball into San Francisco territory. And then, why the lateral jet? Why the jet sweep that loses them 12 yards? This is like the 3rd or 4th time they've done this season. They start moving the ball, and then all of a sudden, instead of continuing to move the correct way, boom, we're just going to move 12 yards back and completely kill the drive. But Carson Wentz had a vision. He had a moment in probably after the tie, which was incredibly embarrassing. He stiff arms a defensive end, throws an amazing pass to Boston Scott. The play didn't count because there was a defensive holding. Who cares? The Eagles, though, get that first down right back. So they've negated the 8-yard loss. And then Jason Kelce, second bad snap of the night. Jalen Hurts couldn't handle it. He just falls on it. Smartly just falls on it. 8-yard loss. And now it's like, all right, well, that's it. They're not going to do anything with this. They'll maybe get 4 yards here. And then it happened. All of you who want so badly to be right about Wentz not being good, take a seat tonight. Take a seat. It's today. It's the next day. But still, take a seat tonight. Carson Wentz drops back and floats a dime to Travis Fulgham. Who is Travis Fulgham? But he makes the catch. He scores touchdown. Eagles. Let's go. Incredible. It was just such a perfect catch by Travis Fulgham, who was getting hacked and whacked by the defensive player, mind you. No call from the refs. Thank you so much, refs. Love you. But Carson Wentz, trusting a guy whose name he might not even know still right now, drops a dime right in the bucket of Travis Fulgham, gets the touchdown. Eagles go up 18-14 with just 5 and change to go here in the 4th quarter. It was definitely the most exciting play we've had all season to think about as Eagles fans. It was definitely the moment where I think most Eagles fans, maybe for the first time all season, actually yelped with excitement. The next play from scrimmage, Nick Mullins. I kind of agree with Colin. I almost said Chris Collinsworth. I agree with Chris Collinsworth on this one point. We see it as he threw it right to Alex Singleton and what are you doing? It's very possible he just simply wasn't even looking at Alex Singleton. He didn't even know he was there. If so, bad read by Mullins, but fortunate for the Philadelphia Eagles because Alex Singleton, who deserves more playing time than Nate Gary after that performance, mind you, races it all the way back. Touchdown Philadelphia. It's 25-14. Close it out. Oh, wow. C.J. Beathard's coming in the game. All right, C.J. Beathard, he's not a bad player. We played him against him in 2017. I thought he showed some stuff, and oh my God. Why does Jim Schwartz go to the prevent defense immediately? We won. Don't be mad. We won. Come on, just we won. We're in first place of the East. I don't understand it myself. I think it was dumb. But C.J. Beathard goes 12 of 15. He throws a touchdown. Eagles get the onside kick. They do nothing with it. I know everyone's kind of wondering why Miles Sanders wasn't used. I'm kind of wondering that myself. Part of me believes ball security issues might have had a play in that. I know he only fumbled once, but just something about that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I think you should give it to your lead back. Give it to the guy that you're supposed to give it to about 20 times a game. Eagles go 3 and out predictably, and then Niners are driving down. They're going to get at least one shot in the end zone. It's 25-20. You never know. Ball's tipped. Darius Slay almost had his first interception, but he didn't. Ball goes out of bounds. Rejoice. Eagles win 25-20. Player of the game, besides Travis Fulgham, you'd have to go with Carson Wentz. There are many deserving players of the game. Rodney McLeod, as I said, he was the best defensive player. Jannard Avery really showed up. I thought the defensive line played actually really well. They still can't run, guard against the run to the outside. And I think that's a linebacker issue more than a defensive end issue. Brandon Graham played really well. Cox, again, Eagles fans know he's slowing down, and hopefully this isn't the end of the Cox era, but the writing's starting to become kind of obvious on the wall. The emergence of Alex Singleton in this game. It was really for only a half, let's be honest. He didn't come out in the first half and was making plays. And it's more than just the pick six. He looked like a sure-handed tackler out there. And in a season in which the Eagles have not tackled well at all, it was kind of nice to see them get those tackles down the stretch to keep guys in bounds. So we'll see where that goes on. I can't imagine they go back to Nate Gary right now. The dude is just such a liability, and he's the constant talk of the defense, week in, week out. It feels pretty good. I finally get to wear some Eagles gear. It feels good to finally get the win. Be sure to check us out next week, or check me out. This is Justin Goodall from Bleeding Green Nation. Be sure to check out Seamus Clancy and all the things that he's doing. Subscribe to his Patreon. Be sure to check out Brandon Lee Gouton's articles. Check out the Kist and Solak show. And I will see you next week after we totally beat the Steelers.